Now, one thing you'll notice is that I have a lot of different fonts here. And if you don't have any cool fonts, well, let me share a little secret with you. So as you can see, I'm here at dafont.com. And Dafont is one of my favorite websites on the whole entire net. Dafont has lots of free fonts that you can download, and these are super high quality. So let's check some of these out. So feel free to go through these different categories and see fonts that you like. So let's click on Eroded and see what's inside there. And as you can see, they have lots of amazing fonts right down here. Now, Dafont has a really cool feature. Do you see where it says preview? Well, you can type whatever text you want in this box, and it's going to show you what that looks like with these fonts. So it's a way to see what a font looks like before even downloading it. So let's try it. I clicked on preview, and now I'm just going to write "Come play with me." And as far as how many fonts do I want to see per page, let's click this and go to 50. And let's click submit. And I like these fonts. This Vintage Fair font is really great. Plane Crash, Scorched Earth. Same with this one, Hostile Headlines. So if you want to download one of these fonts, it's really easy. All you have to do is click the download button on the right-hand corner. You download the font, you open it up, and then you just click the install button. That's simple. So let's check out some of the other categories. Let's scroll back up to the top. So here's a few other categories that I really like and that I always end up going back to. Everything inside the distorted section is really good. Also, do you see where it says basic? All these fonts underneath it are really good. Sans serif. Also for script, do you see where it says calligraphy, school, and handwritten? So these are some of my favorite fonts to use because they look like they're written by hand. Who knew? So it adds that personal touch that really stands out. So for now, let's check out the basic section. I'm going to click on sans serif and see what fonts they have. Now, this font, Babus New on top, is really amazing. It's very thick. And it stands out. So I'm going to download this font. I'm going to click the download button. So I just did some digging around and I found this font. It says Peaches in Regalia. You see this down here at the bottom, Come Play With Me. I really like the sketch look of it. So I'm just going to download this font and I will install that one. Cool. And feast your eyes on this one. You see the Royal Delight font near the top. This one is catchy. It really stands out and I'm feeling it. So I'm just going to click the download button. I'll open that up. Then let's install it. All you have to do is open up the font inside that folder and then click the install font button. So there it is, dafont.com. Make sure to check this website out if you want to get lots of awesome fonts for your pages. So now that we've got some good fonts, let's go back to our photo editor and let's change this font. So I'm going to go to where it says font. I'm going to drop that box down. And let's find that one that we just downloaded, which was called Peaches. There it is, Peaches in Regalia. There it is. I'm feeling that one. I like it a lot. So then you can just drag and move it around and position it where you want the text to be. So this red is a little rough on the eyes, especially against a blue background. So let's style this text a little bit and let's add some color behind it. So here's what I want you to do. Go over to the right where it says layers. So do you see this layers box here? Then I want to make sure that the text layer is selected. So right now it's got Come Play With Me. That's the one that is highlighted. Now underneath it, do you see this little button right here that says Layer Styles? It's got a little flash on it. So go ahead and click that Layer Styles button. And this gives you some options that you can do to pimp out your text and make it look nice. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Outer Glow. Let's put a check in that box. All right. Now let's just select the Outer Glow so we can customize the settings for that. And for the color, let's go down to the color white. White up against red should look pretty good. So now let's go to OK. All right. See, now we're getting someplace. So I'll move this box out of the way so you can see how things look. So as you can see right now, it's got this glow behind the text. And you may or may not want that. Now for me, I don't want it to be so fuzzy behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the hardness. You see this hardness setting here? Right now it's at 2. So let's increase that all the way up to 10. All right. Now we're talking. So then if you want, you can play with the size. You can make the white stroke around the text a lot bigger. So if I increase this, it's going to stand out a lot more. Now you can go up really high if you want, and that's what happens to it. So just find a balance that you like. And I'm going to go with size 9 on that. I think it works pretty well. So let's take this one step further. Do you see where it says drop shadow at the top? Let's put a check in that box. Do you see how it created a shadow underneath the text? It helps the text stand out a lot more. So I'm feeling it. Looks good. And we can crank down the opacity just a little bit so it's not as in your face. And with the distance, you can play around with the distance. Look, if I go really far, that shadow is, a long ways away from the text. And if you bring it close, it's just right underneath the text. I like it right there. And if you want, you can even move it around. So we're looking pretty good. I'm going to click the OK button. And now we're kicking butt. So now let's make some subtle little changes to this text. Instead of the exclamation point, I'm just going to put come play with me ... There we go. So next, let's add a logo for the League of Legends into this picture. So that way people know what this is for. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to Google and do a search for League of Legends. League of Legends logo. And let's go to Google Images. As you can see, we've got a lot of different logos to choose from. So let's just grab one of these. How about this first one that's underneath transparent? I'm going to click on that. And it takes me to this graphic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, go to save image as, and let's save this to our desktop. League of Legends logo. I'm going to hit save. Now let's go back to Pixlr. And what I want you to do is go to File, and let's open a new image. And let's open up that League of Legends logo. There it is. So now that it's imported into Pixlr, now what you can do is you can go to Edit, select all. It selected everything here. Then let's go to Edit, Copy. Then what I want you to do is to click over to the other image that we're working on. And now let's go to Edit, Paste. There we go. So now let's just move this thing around. Let's put it right in the top. So this logo right now is huge. I don't want it to be that big. So we're going to want to size this down. So to make this smaller, what you can do is go up to where it says Edit, then go to Free Transform. All right. So I went to Edit, Free Transform. And that lets me adjust the size of this. So I'm going to go into the corner of it, and I'm just going to make it smaller. All right. So next, let's put a button into this picture. Let me show you how easy it is. If you go over to Google Images, I just want you to do a search for orange button. Then let's do a search for it. And look, we've got lots of templates that we can use. All you have to do is download one of these buttons, then you can just write text. Then you can just put text right on top of it, and you'll be good to go. So this button looks really good. They've got tons of buttons that you can use. You can also do a search for other colors. So let's go up to the top, and instead of orange button, let's do a search for yellow button. And same thing, do you see this graphic right here? This one looks great. And let's go to View Image. Let's use this button. This button looks awesome. I'm just going to right click on this, go to Save Image As. And I'll call this the yellow button. Let's save it. We'll go back to Pixlr. And now what we want to do is open up that button. So that way we can use it. I'm going to go to File, Open Image. Then let's go down to Yellow Button. There it is. So now what we want to do is we want to copy and paste that into the image. So let's go to Edit, Select All, then Edit, Copy. All right, that's all I did was edit, select all, then edit and copy. So then let's close this. We don't need it anymore. Let's go to no, we don't care about it. And let's go to Edit and Paste. Boom, huge button. So what we want to do now is we want to size this down because obviously this button is too big for us. So let's go to Edit, then we'll go down to Free Transform. And we could just adjust this button to however big we want it. I'm going to grab the right hand corner and I can just size it down a little bit. Let's move it over. And if you want to, you could even stretch it. So if I go to the one in middle and I grab that over, this makes the button really wide or smaller that way. All right. So yeah, this lets you customize however big you want it. So this is a size that I think will look good. Let's just hit the enter button to save our changes on it. And there's the button. So now let's write some text to put on the button. We want a good, strong call to action. So our call to action could be anything like play for free, play now, click here to play, or something like that. Now I like the play for free idea. I think that's going to work really well, and I've tested it and it does get me a lot of clicks. So let's click on the text now. And we're going to start a text box right on top of the button. So I'm just going to click on it now. And let's type. So for the text, I really like this font, Peaches in Regalia, for the button text. I think it looks really good. So let's just stick with that one. But ideally for the button, I want something that's very thick and that really gets attention. So a good thick font that stands out is great. This thing does the job nicely. So what I can do is I can make this size a little bit bigger. So let's increase this to 34. There we go. And for the style, we can drop this down and go to bold. All right, so now the font is huge and it really fills the button. Let's go to OK. Now underneath the button, let's add some more text. So I'm going to click the text icon and let's just start typing underneath it. Let's put in 100% free. Let's use this Royal Delight font. So I'm going to click on that. And you can't really see the font right now, so let's change it to a brighter color. So I'm going to click on the color and let's go to red. So now let's add a white stroke behind it, kind of like the one we did above. So what I want you to do is go over to the layers. Do you see where it says 100% free? And let's go to our layer styles. We want to make sure that that layer is selected. And we go down to layer styles. And this is where you want to go to outer glow. So let's put a check in that box. Let's then select it so we could change the color. I'm going to change the color to white. And let's go to OK. All right, now we're getting someplace. So now let's change the hardness. I'm not really feeling 2 for this, so I'm just going to increase that. All right, now we're talking. You see how much better that looks? And there it is. There you go, you guys. We have just created a really awesome landing page very quickly. So what I want you to do is go up to File, and let's save this. Let's go to Save. And I'll save this to my computer, and let's give it a name. How about League of Legends Pop-Up? And let's go to OK. And done. Now let's open up our graphic to see how it came out. Let's double click on it. There it is. It really is that simple, you guys. You just created a really hot pop-up.